What is up, guys? You are on the GNG podcast.
Oh, sweet. Well, there you go. They were just talking about, Nah, joking.
Welcome, Carla.
What is up, guys?
It's your boy.
It's your boy.
Maddie Smokes.
Maddie fucking Smokes.
Didn't want to swear, but since you did.
Welcome back to another episode of the GNG podcast. Well, it's ever since our Kirby episode, it's been a bit of break, like a month break.
Yes, sir.
So we're back, and we are not talking about basketball. We are talking about something. It's not basketball. It's not basketball at all. But we have the gang here. Chloe's not here, so we have a special guest with me, Pat.
Oh, yes. Hello, I'm back.
Pat is back.
I'm back.
Pat is back. I'm joking.
I'll just get up and go. It's fine, guys. Whatever.
This is my friend, Carla. Say
Friend. Hi, guys.
Yeah, friend.
Welcome.
Friend. I just friend zoned her.
Yeah, not impressed.
How are you?
Yeah, I've been better because I'm spending time with you. But
Okay.
other than that, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. You're good. Well, I'm not entirely too happy to be here because you're here. I had to call you up last minute, but that's all right.
Yeah, last minute.
I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel in order to. But
Used all your options before you got to me. It's fine. That's how
So,
it is.
what we're talking about this week, right here, toilet paper, coronavirus.
You're rich.
I'm rich. This costs $5,000. All right, so if anyone wants toilet paper,
Who's the poor bugger that you sold that to?
you don't want to know. That man's on the streets right now trying to look for toilet paper. But coronavirus, it's a very serious thing. It's a very hot topic right now because it is spreading really fast and there's been a lot of panic, around the globe. Let's just talk about the origins of the outbreak. It came from the city of Wuhan, reportedly, from a little... Allegedly, from a little market, food market that was selling sort of exotic animals on the down low, which is... that's illegal in China, yeah?
Illegal?
I don't know if it's illegal. I didn't
Exotic?
actually. I think it's there now that the break has happened, the outbreak has happened, they've put a ban on it, but
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. Maybe I should Google that.
Yeah, I think now it's been banned, but I think it's also like from a global point, it was a bit sort of
Hey,
frowned
how you
upon.
going?
Yeah. So yeah, apparently came from bats. People consuming bats as a delicacy over there, and it became transferable to humans. And it wasn't known for a bit. It was a bit on the down low, like it was like, oh, it's just a regular flu. People were just getting sick, nothing too serious. And then it really, probably around the end of December, start of January, it really started to kick off things. A lot of cases in China, particularly in Wuhan, were being reported. And now to this day, where we are at, I'm not saying where because we're somewhere in Australia, Sydney. There's been a lot of cases, and there's been somewhat of a bit of a panic in Australia, particularly here in Sydney. I just want to know your thoughts on this outbreak. What are we at now? Like how many cases do we have?
There's 102,000 cases and 225 that are live at the moment.
Right.
That have been not live at the moment.
Like
reported in general, and of that, 57,611 have recovered. At the moment, there's 41,119 active cases, and 15% of those are serious or critical. So those are just some statistics.
3,500 deaths, which is if you look at percentages, more mortality rate or death rate is 3%. That's pretty much 3%. I think a bit less than that.
Quick math.
Yeah, quick math. Compared to like the other outbreaks like SARS and MERS, I think MERS was like at least 10%, or SARS was like 10%.
I think they predicted it to not be as bad as SARS and not have as many cases as SARS, but I think it's well exceeded SARS from what I've read up on, or it's anticipated to really spread a lot more. But I just think it's interesting right now, China isn't producing the most act like there's not that many new cases in China in comparison to everywhere else. Like South Korea has 174 where China only has 99.
Yeah.
So it's really moving away from China and moving out into everywhere. So yeah, I just think that it's really I feel like it's gonna spread, and it's gonna spread rapidly, and it might get as bad as what's happened in Wuhan and happened in that province. What are your thoughts?
I heard I mean, I see like why a lot of people are like outraged at the moment, because we've already had this experience with the SARS, and it's like, why isn't China kind of being more proactive about the whole situation? Because it's like, we had this situation before. Why aren't we doing the same thing? If another pandemic happens, like, why aren't we taking the necessary steps? And so, yeah, people are pretty pissed off. And, who wouldn't be as well? It's like it's spread globally. People are dying from it as well.
Okay. In terms of the deaths, think about it, but a lot of the deaths have been from the elderly. So people who are in their 70s to 80s, and also people who have underlying illnesses as well. I think that's one thing that people don't understand, is that your immune system, if your immune system is not great, or if you have a sickness, or long-term sickness, then it is more dangerous to you. If you're keeping healthy and you're keeping a good hygiene, you're not sick, then you shouldn't be worried about it. Continue. What else do you think? What else do you think about it?
Yeah, but I was gonna say, but we also have to consider the fact that it is kind of hitting more on the elder age group, and but the thing is as well, I think people were like kind of comparing it with the common flu,
yeah,
and how I think common flu is still more deadly than the coronavirus. I think that's something along those lines, like that.
I think with anything though, with because they say that it's meant to have, you kind of develop is it pneumonia or pneumonia? I can't pronounce it. And if you get that as an elderly person and you're already sick and your immune system is weak, the chances of you recovering, they drastically fall. I have known some people that have at an older age contracted it, and it's been a really rough recovery for them. And that's essentially not the same as coronavirus, but if you are weaker, you're going to have a harder time recovering it, as you would with anything. But I am on the conspiracy side of things. And I don't trust anything that the government says. But as well as that, I think
putting the middle hat on.
Yeah, I think everything that happens, there's something that we're not being told about it. And I think with this, there's got to be something, whether it be the outbreak or how severe it was at the start. There's something that we're missing as the general public.
Yeah, definitely, especially when it comes from, the outbreak came from China, where that's
censorship is high.
Yeah. And so a lot of the government, hide stuff. They pretty much shut up the whistleblower who's now passed away due to the coronavirus, which raises a lot of question as to if he really died from the coronavirus, or was he, did he die because, someone...
Because he was shunned, he was definitely...
Yeah, they arrested him.
Yeah.
It was pretty unfortunate to see, he pretty much, if they acted upon it, they could have, this outbreak probably wouldn't have been as serious or as, I guess, as rapid. The outbreak, it wouldn't have been as rapid and more controlled, would have been more controlled. Let's talk about some of the symptoms. So, a little bit of coughing. Was it coughing, sneezing,
I
headaches?
think you get really a flu-like. It comes on like a flu, but it just is prolonged. So it's more of a body ache flu where you feel tired, you feel sick, you've got fevers, you've got a lot of those symptoms that are really heightened, and then it turns into a cough and pneumonia hypomia, whatever. I'm joking. And then it turns into that. But I've been trying to figure out, which is what I've been doing a lot of research because I stress a lot, how you know you have coronavirus at the start. And I can't find anything on it.
Well, that's the thing. You technically don't know if you have it. You could be carrying it and not be sick, which is the very scary thing.
Or you could just have a common flu or cold.
Yeah.
And not know until you go get tested for it.
Yeah, you could be just like, I just got a cold.
Yeah, you don't think twice about it.
Yeah. Which is kind of worrying because I just came back. I just came back. I was overseas for 3 weeks.
Tell them where.
I went to
flex hard.
I went to the very clean country of the Philippines. Very hygienic, clean showers, clean toilets, everything. Very, very clean.
Yes, sir.
For 2 weeks, wasn't exposed at all. And then I went to the much more cleaner country of Japan, which recently, at that time, which was around the mid-Feb, had the outbreak on the cruise ship, Diamond Princess. Luckily, I was not near that place. I was in Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, not in Yokohama, I think it was. And from my experience, because the coronavirus was at its, I wouldn't say its peak, but like it was on the news daily. A lot of the people, especially in Japan, were wearing masks. Surprisingly, but a lot of the foreigners, like a lot of the tourists, weren't really wearing masks. They were just going out and about doing their thing, just sightseeing and all that. The one thing that really surprised me about is when I came back to Australia, and when I came back to the airport, when I was at the airport, there was a lack of screening in terms of like, getting the temperature from your head, from your head, to see if you're feeling the heat. There was nothing like that. It was very smooth. It was just like nothing. There was no virus ever mentioned, which is very, very scary because, as you know, Australia is a hot spot for tourism, especially from, I wouldn't say like, especially with the Chinese. Don't get it, like, that's from experience. That's what we see pretty much every day. And also, we have a lot of international students from all the unis we go to. And so whenever they come through and they don't get screened, well, where have they been? Where they come from? Like, and who have they been in contact with? I think that's the most scariest thing for us. And I know that you go to a different uni, we go to the same uni. What's been the experience from those unis? Have you guys gotten any news?
Yeah, well, in class, I actually have maybe 2 students in my class. It's a really small class. It's probably a class of 10. And in that class, we have 2 students that are held up in China at the moment. They can't actually travel to uni to sit in the class. So we have to film the classes for them so that they can participate. But one of the classmates came, and he was saying that he flew to another country, I can't remember which one, stayed there for about 2 weeks and then flew into Australia. But him coming from China, not to say that everyone who's coming from China will have the coronavirus, but going into another country and then coming over, he wasn't screened at all, even though he had recently been in China. And that's what I was reading up on it, because the education industry in Australia is huge. A lot of the money that is made comes from Chinese international students. And they've even predicted a loss of, I think, 1.2 billion from this semester because of this outbreak for the higher sector, like the higher education industry. And in saying that, a lot of them are I was reading an article and they were saying they feel unsupported by the Australian government to come back in to study. They haven't really helped them. They've had to spend a lot of money on tickets to other countries. One of them had to even buy a first class ticket just to get out of China to go to a different country, then to fly into Australia. But like you're saying, there's nothing to screen them or to check them when they get here. just a hey, how you going?
Yeah, it was pretty much, especially like compared to the Philippines. That's a third world country. Like, I remember being screened at least twice, and even from like compared to Australia, we didn't even have documents to say, have you been in China for the last 2 weeks, or how do you feel? Have you had this sickness, headaches, stomach aches, whatever. We always had that in the Philippines. We always had documentation and then a screening. But in Australia, that's a first world country. Like, to have no screening, no documentation at all, I don't know.
That's why it doesn't make sense. Like, why aren't they taking the necessary precautions or extra steps to, avoid it spreading?
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of people are like frustrated in a sense. Like, come on, man. Like, it's, I don't know, logical to do stuff to prevent it.
Right. You'd rather be safe than sorry, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and that's the thing. I think the only thing I got from when I got back was one question is that, have you been in China for the past 2 weeks? But even then, like,
it's already
at that
spread.
point, it's already spread.
It was in Japan at that point.
It was already in Japan. The first death outside of China was in the Philippines. No surprise
they're
there.
more strict on bringing too much water into a plane than,
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
than, screening for sickness or whatever.
And
what do I know?
yeah, what do we know? We just run a podcast.
Not much.
No, not much, yeah. But yeah, talk about your uni, because your uni almost I saw an article that they pretty much considered closing down for a bit.
Well, technically at this point in time when we're recording right now, I haven't really started uni, but I have been getting emails from uni saying that I think it was funny. I think when coronavirus started like getting a bit big initially, they were saying how fortunately, like, no one that we know of that's a student of UTS has a case of it. And then
Story for us.
And then the next email was like, there's now found cases in Sydney, not necessarily UTS students, but like, just to be wary, and we're gonna, see what we can do to kind of, prevent it happening within the campus and whatnot. And I think a couple of emails afterwards is like, I think there's some students that may have it now, and so far it's just been like just to be careful kind of thing, but it's like
stay vigilant.
Yeah, but it's like everyone's already doing that already. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, so far, I think they're just gonna proceed uni as normal. So nothing that I know of that they're thinking about closing down temporarily or anything at all. I think they're just gonna run as is normal. But I think probably what I don't know is probably they might be sending different emails to internationals maybe. That because they don't want to alarm everyone, maybe like they don't want to spread panic. So I don't know, maybe that's their way of damage control. But from what I get, that's all I got.
I think all the emails I've seen from uni or even from Woolworths, everywhere has literally said, "Don't panic, it's not that bad," and
can
I
just
don't
continue
know.
your regular activities.
And I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, for our uni, one of the lecturers got infected.
Yeah.
And he apparently hasn't been to campus, which I'll just take that with a grain of salt, just see if that is true or not. Check the cameras.
Check the cameras.
And then also, like, near our campuses, there's been deaths. One death?
Say near your campus.
Yeah, near
down the road, really,
down the road.
from our uni.
It was like an aged care center. 95-year-old person died, and some of the workers have contracted it. So, and also the high school nearby as well has been closed down for the weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Epping. Sorry, the one in Epping. The one in Epping. Not specific.
Not specific.
But it's around in Epping. There's a lot of schools in Epping.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We're not near Epping. That's, I don't know. What do you reckon at some point, if it does get out of control, that places will close down? Because I know, I heard in Seattle people are already working from home. Like, they're not
really?
they're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to come to work. They just work from home now.
At Dad's work, they've already started kind of implementing work from home. Because what Dad's telling me is like they started doing trials of, because I don't think it's normal kind of thing. Not that it was against it, but it's usually people come into work kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now they've started like trying to start implementing some programs so people can work from home. But they're just doing trials just to see if it still works smoothly. But yeah, now even Dad's company, like they're taking precautions already as well.
I mean, from where we're working, it just go as normal. I think at some point we might have to start being vigilant about it, or like having a plan to close down. Especially because where we're at, there's a lot of reported cases. So
in our area.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I don't know, why is it here?
I know, out of all places.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
out of all places.
It's interesting that Seattle are doing work from home, because USA just hit, I think, 300 cases. Seattle's in USA, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just making sure.
She's not good with the directions.
I'm not good at geography or any of that, but I've read Twilight, so I know that Seattle's somewhere around there. But yeah.
Gosh. Anyway.
But even I think there's other schools in America that have temporarily shut down.
Wow.
Because they're worried, because kids, they do whatever kind of thing, and then it's not. I think there's more worry about the kids, because again, it does kind of more affect the older age group, but it's more so when they come back home, or who they come in contact after school, and spreading it to like older people. But
even then, it's like, if you do actually contract the coronavirus, there's not an actual vaccine for it. And I think that's also one of the reasons why people are panicking, because I think it's like 18 months before they actually complete a vaccine,
and it's mutated as well.
Yeah, it's mutated. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are panicking. And then there's different levels to the coronavirus. So there's like the mild, and then there's the severe. And if they do contract the severe, I mean, that doesn't mean, and if that doesn't mean young or old that your chances are different, it's still severe.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of shutting down, sport-wise, in Italy, they're not allowing fans into the soccer stadiums anymore. So games are still televised, I think. But man, those stadiums are going to be hella empty.
Pretty sure it's in Milan where it's actually got pretty bad. So they just shut down pretty much almost everything virtually.
I'm kind of surprised, yet also not surprised that like the outbreak in Italy. But
like how it got there?
Yeah, how it got there.
Yeah, that's
because like
a bit random, isn't it?
It's a bit random. It's a bit random. But also at the same time, like, yeah, it is a high tourist spot as well. But at the same time, like, come on, China, lock it down.
What about Iran though?
That's a big one. That's another big one.
Is that close? I wouldn't say that's really close to China.
It's closer than
Italy.
Probably closer than Italy. Yeah,
it's closer than Italy.
But that's the third highest cases in the world right now.
That was the lecturer that he came from Iran. So
Italy is a close second. Close fourth, but they're very, very close.
I actually didn't realize South Korea
as well. South Korea's got a huge amount.
I wouldn't be surprised about that. It's a neighbor. Yeah. Who's the third one?
So it goes China, South Korea, Iran, Italy, and then
that's in the thousands. Japan actually being what, 7th?
Yeah, 420. 420 cases. I should rather say.
I'm kind of surprised. Surprised, but also I'm commending Japan that only 420 cases. Like that's cleanliness and hygiene at its best.
Singapore is on total lockdown.
Oh, that's smart too.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's easy for them because it's not a big general area. It's just like a city-state type thing. So it's like, why not? Like, don't let anyone in.
But also Singapore is like really known for like their cleanliness too.
You know what I'm shocked about? That India isn't anywhere in the top 10, and they have like a very large population as well. So if it were to get there, they've only got, at the moment on this website, they've only got 31 cases, but I would expect for it to
be a bit higher than that.
Yeah, to really spread so much more because of how close together everyone is.
Especially it's a pretty humid country as well. Like anything spreads pretty quickly through that kind of temperature.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Especially when very dense population too. It's not like a lot, but very dense. Like Mumbai, New Delhi. There's bound, or unless there's no Chinese people moving and traveling there. That's the one thing.
India and China are really close together.
That's very true.
India, Nepal, China. So really, there's only a couple of countries. Actually, no, even New Delhi's right next to the border.
Very true.
I don't know. I'm not good at geography. Don't quote me on this.
Yeah, that's true. So, a lot of shutdown with the soccer. NBA has just sent out a memo that's saying that you should prepare for no fans in your arenas.
Is it for all arenas, they said? Or
I'm guessing so.
Yeah, I guess so.
You'd be...
Maybe that's why Spike Lee's like not watching games anymore.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That's just his
like, fuck the coronavirus. I want to sit courtside with these sweaty dudes. Hell no. Yeah, I guess so. But I guess I don't know. We'll see where it goes from there.
How do you think that like kind of, you reckon that will affect sports greatly from that? They can still broadcast kind of thing.
Yeah, they can still broadcast. I mean, it's like if it's not that far, like long, that this lockdown type thing, then yeah, I don't mind. I don't think it'll affect it that much. I'm more worried about the economy, because China is a big player in the manufacturing industry, and all our goods pretty much come from there. Like 90% of our goods come from there.
I went to the doctors yesterday, and I overheard one of the doctors saying every single piece of gauze, every single piece of Band-Aid, anything you use it wisely, because they obviously get a lot of their stuff from China, like where their suppliers get it from China, and they don't want to, imagine running out of stitches or gauze or, anything that you need to run a doctor, like a general practice in this epidemic, this pandemic, whatever it's meant to be called. Like, how are we going to survive if we don't even have the means to treat anything, or any sicknesses, any general illnesses as well? So I thought that was really interesting overhearing that.
True. Well, yeah, there's been a low stock of that, plus hand sanitizers, masks,
toilet paper.
Oh.
The elephant in the room.
Let's just go to the toilet paper. Why not? Why are you Australians buying toilet paper? Not like a packet, like 10.
Yeah.
Like hoarding that.
I'm lucky my mum's a hoarder, so she has stocked up. Even before this happened, we have in our cupboards, we have literally like shelves with toilet paper stacked and soaps.
She's just always prepared.
So she's probably been waiting for this day her whole life.
She's ready for D-Day. That's what she's
going to be one of those people, I knew it, I told you.
I told you this was going to happen.
You didn't listen. Look right
you
now.
You laughed at me. The perks of being Lebanese.
I told
really.
you so.
But did anyone get that email from... I'm with Flybys, so I got an email from Coles saying that they were really working on getting... I'm literally looking at it now. They're really working on keeping all the shelves stocked, and they literally said that the purchases of everyday items from customers was just brought on by a social media frenzy, just panic really, is what they kind of alluded to. And that they don't need to panic because they're going to keep the shelves stocked. So we'll see how that goes.
Do you guys reckon that those kind of stores should have kind of just a limit, I guess? Because, it's a bit inconsiderate, especially for people like in low income, like, they live off like the essentials kind of thing.
There was a photo of an old person who had to resort to like buying tissues because there was no toilet paper. So
that's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is a pretty sad reality that like, damn, like.
I think Coles limited to a temporary 4-pack limit.
Yeah, I think Coles and Woolies.
Okay, so good. There's
and there was a video where they were just handing out the packets like one by one to each customer. So like they didn't put it on the shelf or anything. They just brought it from the back and just did like a little system.
You know what makes it really sad as well is like how people respond to this kind of pandemic. Like, for example, like toilet paper, they buy heaps and then they sell it. Like it's like people are still trying to find ways,
capitalize on everything.
to exploit the situation or something. Like that's where I'm like, bro, come on, man. That's sad. Like there's other people that actually need this stuff, kind of thing.
I agree. And you're not going to go through that much.
Yeah, man. Like, how much shit do you want? Like, how much?
Really? Like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Just keep it there.
It's surprising how, like, they prioritize toilet paper over food.
Oh, pastas, I think, one. They don't really mention a lot. But I know when I went Coles the other day, pasta was definitely, like, all gone. Because that one can last for quite a while, too.
Yeah. But still, like...
And you can make anything pretty much with pasta.
Yeah, but everything was about toilet paper. Like, all the media reports, all the memes, and just toilet paper. Because it's ridiculous. Like...
And why us? I get America. Like, they can do that. But, like... Australia? Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I just think that it's the weirdest thing to fret over. Because... I don't know. Like, there's different ways you can... substitute toilet paper. There's not a different way to substitute food.
But they're Australian. They don't know our ethnic ways.
Yeah, true.
Like, we were speaking about it, Pat and I, and we were like, bro, just use the filler. Just use the tub of water.
I definitely would prefer toilet paper.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's alternatives. It's not like the toilet paper is the only option.
It's not the end of the world, really.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, man. People buying toilet paper, people not buying Corona beers because they think it's linked to coronavirus.
I love the fact that people aren't buying Corona beers. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it's just by connotation alone, they're not buying Corona beers. It's alright. Give me a VB. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, we touched upon the conspiracy bit.
Is it time to get back into it?
Ooh. It's time to delve into it. Just...
All right.
You want to start? What's the biggest conspiracy that you believe in right now?
I think, and I touched on it before, that the biggest conspiracy that I believe is, I don't think it just originated from a market. I think that it was put there for a reason. I think I don't know. I just think the government controls like everything, and I feel like I think population control. That's my conspiracy. And some people agree and some people don't, but I think that for months before, everyone's been joking about the fact that there's too many people on the world. Oh, we need a virus. Like, and what happened? A virus happened. So I think that, yeah, it's touchy because a lot of people don't agree and a lot of people do that it's a conspiracy, but I think it's a conspiracy. I think that there's something fishy going on. So what about you guys?
Pat?
Yeah, definitely kind of sus. Especially, I think there was someone saying that there's what's it called? There's like a lab actually based in Wuhan that's contains like different types of diseases and stuff like that. So it's like, is it a coincidence? Like, it's happened in the exact same city. And yeah, I don't know. I just doesn't really help with the situation. And again, like touching back with that doctor as well, like, did he really die from the disease as well?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he was sick, but like,
yeah, like who knows? And it's, again, China controlling information because it's
controlling everything. Yeah,
communists. Yeah. Yeah. On that one, yeah, it is suspicious, and I don't know. It's
red hot, really.
Yeah, it doesn't, and I feel like anything that China says or do, it's like most of the time it doesn't really help where they are at now, like image wise and stuff like that.
That's true. I think I wouldn't believe it totally, but this is my most interesting conspiracy, is that it is a bio-warfare weapon.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I heard reports that this is a kind of a stretch, but like it was sold by the US to China. Yeah.
I never heard that one.
Yeah. And that, it was supposed to be used as a bio-warfare weapon technically it kind of could be. Right now, it could be as a biowarfare weapon.
Have you heard that they have so all the illnesses that we've all been like immunized for and vaccinated for, but not just that, like, I don't know, it could be like even the plague or something, like just random illnesses or diseases that they have still samples for. By them, I don't know who them is. It could be the government or some independent like laboratory, but they have all these illnesses that why do they need to have that? We don't suffer from it anymore. I know I get vaccinations, that's why you kind of need to have some sort of record of them, but why not destroy them so to prevent a future outbreak? And I feel like that's what's happening here. They just needed I don't know, it's a bit risque to say, but I think it's a conspiracy. Everything about it is sus as. So
China, her number is
don't
address is this.
Oh,
also, I have a question. Do you guys reckon, because you know how there's the whole Hong Kong protest, do you think there's potentially a connection with that?
In what way? Like
because they had all that issues, and maybe they thought, again, like they use this as a kind of way to get back, or
the Hong Kong people or the Chinese people?
Chinese people to Hong Kong.
Possibly.
I was talking about it with someone before,
Possibly.
and he was like saying that was his conspiracy theory, because it was like kind of afterwards as well, like the protests and like.
Yeah, you could be right. Just to like put the honkies on panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially what's it called? During the time of Chinese New Year's, when everyone, that was like the time when people like, you know, went to go everywhere outside of Wuhan. Like,
That's
traveling out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when like Chinese New Year's was happening. So for it to break out during that period, sus.
Very, very timely.
Very, very, yeah, exactly. And then for it to be not reported properly at the start and not controlled properly at the start either. And even the information so a lot of the information that we saw around that time period was the government saying everything's fine or whatever China was saying, and then we were seeing videos that were being posted by people that were living in Wuhan, and they were showing exactly what the situation was like exposing everything, and you're just like, whoa, like this is crazy what's happening.
I think also another statistic that I found very interesting, although I'm not sure if it's entirely true, that the first 40 cases of the reported who got it first, 14 of those never interacted with that market. I
heard that too.
I think I heard something about that as well.
Yeah, which kind of sort of leans toward, well, was this really from the market or was this from a lab?
Yeah.
So
they like him or person, and then
just pick a target.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very weird conspiracy, especially when it came from China. It's just like very,
because we don't know a lot. They won't tell us anything really. There's no transparency with that, but I don't think there's transparency with any government really. Imagine this happened in America. Do you think they would tell us?
I reckon they tell us more than what China is.
I think definitely more, but I feel like if it was a conspiracy, like we, you know,
and I know. I guess with other countries, I just don't see why they would do it. If it was a conspiracy, why would they like do population control, or like why would they release this as a biowarfare weapon? For China's sake, in terms of like trade, economy, like I reckon they can come back up in terms of like manufacturing, starting work again, selling goods, exporting goods, stuff like that. They can come back. But in terms of the other countries, I don't know. They could be wary of. I don't know. It's very complex, this conspiracy of how it came out and why it's come out. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm scared to say anything more because I'm actually like convinced the government's gonna come after me if I slam them too much. I'm joking, but really.
She's not joking. No, she's not joking.
Half joking.
Like, I'm just going to say allegedly everything I'm saying, just so I don't get sued. No, but even with population control, think of who's suffering. It's people that are old, like we were saying before. And we know we've got an aging population. We know there's going to be strain on, resources because of the aging population. So what better way to, get rid of them, for lack of a better term, phrase or word, than for this pandemic to happen.
You're right.
So another element of the conspiracy. The plot thickens, really.
Ooh. I like that. I like that. I had something in my head. I just forgot about it. Oh yeah, right. Speaking of China, and speaking of Asia as a general, I feel like there's also been a wave of racism around the world.
That's a sad. What's it called? I forgot the word. Slipped my mind. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's very sad. Like, the thing that just because you're Asian looking, be wary. You could have been from Wuhan or something. I've heard a lot of. I think it was in London. I think London. A group of guys walked past I think it was a Vietnamese man, and they walked past. They called him something racist, and he sort of looked back and sort of said, "What'd you say?" type thing, and he got beat up because of that.
Yeah, pretty badly too.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And so there's been a lot of racism. And do you reckon it's just from lack of education of researching the virus, researching that not all Asians have, but that's common sense. Like that should be like common sense. Like, not every Asian has coronavirus. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like,
I think before it even was a big thing in Australia,
yeah.
A lot of people were being racist towards, in my experience, they're making jokes, and there's a certain truth behind a joke sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, I was in a group and somebody would make a joke about one of their Asian mates, and it just was, or like when I went to this restaurant in Cabramatta,
Yeah.
can't say it, and it was empty there. There was no one there. Literally, this is just when it started happening. And even I went to Chinatown for karaoke, and there was no one around. And it's crazy that people are now avoiding these areas that are dense, like have a dense population of people from Asia. And it's I just think it's crazy. It's ludicrous that they're doing that, because at the time we didn't even have more than 10 cases or whatever it was. Right. And people are just using it as an excuse to justify their racism and justify being mean to people about it, which isn't fair.
Yeah, that's true. One of the local yum cha spots that I used to go to closed down because of that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit uneducated that, just because the coronavirus did break out in China, that all Asians have it. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty narrow-minded. Yeah, I don't know what this is.
What are your thoughts?
What do you think?
Oh yeah, I just think it's just stupid. Like,
especially for us, because we look Asian enough. It's not a good look on us. Whenever we try to cough, I was coughing in Japan, and I was like, oh crap.
Right.
I don't wanna...
every speaking of coughing, like every time I go out and I see someone like cough nearby, I just like hold my breath.
Yeah, right.
Me too.
Right. And you're like, regardless of who the person is, like, it doesn't matter if you're Asian or not. If you cough, you're like, oh,
hell no.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think it's stupid. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe an excuse. And then, I don't know, in the world, people are still racist anyway. Like, and then it's like, it gives them another thing to add on.
Right.
And unfortunately, not just Asians, but unfortunately, like, people get hurt by it, physically, mentally. Like, it's pretty bad. But that's just like another topic, that like extending to another topic of racism. But yeah, no, definitely, it's just that people are being hurt by it, kind of thing. Like that. There's not a way of helping the whole situation or anything.
Yeah, it's just like kicking them pretty much down.
Yeah, like I don't know. What are you gonna achieve out of that?
Yeah, it's a very, very sad thought. But yeah, I guess I don't know how to deal with that. Like, really, that's for anyone who's being racist out there. Just like, just do your research. Not all Asians have coronavirus, and people who are not Asian have coronavirus. So
that's true.
Think about that. What have you guys been doing in terms of keeping yourself hygienic, or just like making sure you don't get the coronavirus? Even though we don't know if you have the coronavirus.
Yeah, I could have it literally. No, I'm joking. I personally, I spent, when it first happened, maybe $100 on masks because I was scared that they would sell out. And I was anticipating that it would outbreak to the point that it has, if not more. So I just was like, I'm going to buy them now before I stress later, kind of like the toilet paper situation. Stock up early before it gets to a point where you can't buy them anywhere. And at the time we also had been, the bushfires were happening, all that was going on. So masks were scarce here in Australia, Sydney particularly, as it was. And from then, like I said, my mum stocked up pretty much on everything, just as who she is as a person. So we have soap, we have toilet paper, we have all that. But I wash my hands already so much. So I don't know. I'm just trying to... I'm not worried because I don't think I've come in contact with anyone that's maybe not come in contact with anyone that has coronavirus. But, I want to avoid busy places and stuff like that. But at the same time...
You can't.
I don't want to... Yeah, I can't. I have uni to go to. I love to eat out, stuff like that. So I probably could be a bit more cautious, but I'm not really, other than spending $100 on masks. But yeah.
Which you haven't worn once.
I know, I haven't even worn them because I'm not stressed yet, but I will be stressed soon. But we'll maybe have to do a podcast in like 2 weeks' time just to make sure I didn't get coronavirus.
Well, I don't know if this podcast will be on for all.
If you never see me again, it's because... No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, pretty similar. Like I think in terms of like washing hands, especially like coming from outside, because like I don't know, you touch everything, especially like if you take public transport.
Yeah,
it's pretty heavy there. So just like full washing up to like half my forearm and stuff like that.
You're going to surgery doing that.
Yeah, actually. But yeah, I think it's pretty similar to you. Like I'm really stressed about it, but I think the more you hear news about it, I think the more I'm gonna start thinking about it more. At the moment, like I still think it's a bit of an overreaction. I mean, in terms of like Australia, like how we're dealing. It's like, again, it's toilet paper thing.
Compared to other countries, we're pretty clean.
Yeah, exactly.
We're pretty clean.
But still doesn't defeat the fact that it could still spread.
Yeah.
And but yeah, at this point in time, I don't. Yeah, similar to Carla, I don't feel that as stressed. Again, just the general clean. We have masks at home too, but I just found out as well.
Did you spend $100 on that?
No, I didn't spend $100 because dad normally has it. But
the Asian way, we find the cheapest, cheap alternative.
But also, I found out as well, like even just normal mask doesn't do the job. No. Like you need to have like a particular grade.
I got
we got the P2 ones, I think.
I think I got one with me now.
Yeah, I got one with me too.
I'm not gonna wear it.
I don't have one.
I got my snood too. Anyway,
have you doing anything?
I guess when I was so before going overseas, we did sort of like be a bit cautious. We tried to prepare for things, so we bought masks. Particularly when you go on a plane. I was wearing the mask on the plane
the whole time. I mean, obviously when you eat and stuff.
The majority of the time I was wearing the mask, and like, I think for good reason. I had to wear it on the plane, just to be cautious. But when I was, in the Philippines and even in Japan, like at the start I was wearing the mask, but then as the trip went by, I was like, no, I don't need the mask anymore. Like, as long as I was like constantly washing my hands, I had hand sanitizer with me all the time. So whatever, not what every time I touch something, but like, you know, every couple hours I would, you know, hand sanitize. But other than that, like when I was over there and like when I'm here now, I don't feel worried. Even with all this media attention, like sort of spreading the panic. Like the media's not helping, but I just don't feel in danger, or I don't feel like I've been in contact with anyone or anything that's been, you know, contracted with the virus. So yeah, I'm just staying at least vigilant. I still have my masks, so yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel worried.
I think right now, it's better to be like take precautions, and when I say precautions, I don't mean not going out or any of that. I just think that organizations, businesses, even places that you go out to, just need to take precautions in cleaning up properly, having hand sanitizer available, working at home if you can, just things if you can put people at less risk, just doing things like that, as opposed to all of us freaking out and stocking up in case of a crisis. But you know, maybe this is gonna absolutely bite us in the ass, and in 2 weeks time it's gonna be chaos and we're not gonna have toilet paper because we didn't stress out. But yeah, I don't know, it literally could go either way right now. I think so. I just think it's really, I don't know, like I'm not stressed, but I could be.
Have you seen that video with they were doing like an announcement for the coronavirus, and she was like, now it's time to be aware that you shouldn't touch use your hands to touch your face, your nose, or your eyes, or your mouth. And then like 2 minutes later, she does this to turn the page. And that's become a meme now all over the social media. Like, what a...
Write that upon yourself.
What a liar. But yeah, I think we're coming to the point where, yeah, we got to start being a little bit more vigilant, a little bit more wary of where we're going. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go there. But, you know, because it could be the cleanest place you go to. But yeah, I think everyone should not stock up, but like, just at least have a hand sanitizer in your pocket.
If you can find.
Yeah.
Or just ask my mum. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, just be wary of it, I guess. I don't know. It's there's two sides of this. There's like people like, I don't give a shit. Like, this is just do your regular activities. As long as I'm keeping hygienic, you know, I'm washing my hands and I'm showering, you know.
I mean, statistically, I'm pretty sure the province that coronavirus is in has, you know, maybe over 1 million people. I have it could be even...
I think like 5 million.
Yeah, I think it's... and only, let's say, I'll get the actual statistic up. Only 80,000 people have been infected there. So statistically speaking... it's a very, very slim chance of getting coronavirus, but
yeah,
it could be an outbreak soon.
But then again, there's two sides.
Exactly.
There's kind of like us, where we're like, just keep an eye on it, do whatever, stay clean, whatever. And then there's the panic people who buy the toilet paper, who don't buy Corona.
I think I'm both. Like, I think I'm like the panic person where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get coronavirus. And then the other one where I'm like, oh, you know, statistics show I probably won't get coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I fall in all traps.
I think the Chinese government is on the panic side, because have you guys seen that doco with the people in Wuhan? They welded the doors and all that type of stuff. And, you know, everyone.
It was on Four Corners or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like,
yeah, I was gonna bring that up as well. It's just like, because like of the perspective of like people in Wuhan and then people like here, like you just walk your normal day, people are just pretty much chill, not too worried, and then you have the perspective of people in Wuhan. People are like, they're scared.
Yeah,
like no one can live a normal life.
No one's allowed on the street.
Yeah, really. You have officials knocking on your door, like
Checking your temp.
Yeah, and it's not even confirmed if they have coronavirus. It's the temperature. Like
Exactly.
And if you do have that temperature, it's like, oh, we'll drag your ass out to the hospital.
And you see, like, literally, like, people, like, kicking and screaming. Yeah. Like, it's just sad. And then you see, and then there's videos, like, of people in, like, hospital as well. People are just, like, lying on the floor because there's no space. There's not enough staff pretty much to accommodate for all of those people.
Everything that's happening.
So you see people, crying because their family members just passed away, like, during the night, something like that. And it's just a different, like, pretty much like a different world. Yeah.
I think one of the videos that Carla was mentioning before from one of the people in Wuhan, they were like explaining, like, because the hospitals in Wuhan are so crowded, like, they'll wait for hours just to meet up with a doctor. And even then, if they actually didn't have it, they were waiting for hours
exposed to it.
Yeah, so there were massive exposure to people who do have it. And then again, if they didn't have space in the hospital, they would be just sent home.
There's not much they can do. There's no cure.
They just gave him antibiotics, which is like completely like ineffective because it's biotics, and it's a virus. But like, there's an issue going on in Wuhan, and like, it's sad to say because there are some Aussies who are still there. Like, there was that one black who was really Aussie.
He was like,
he's got a Chinese wife. He's like stuck there, and he's like, man, fuck, we were supposed to go out. We were supposed to get a flight, and now I'm stuck here
because there's no transport to even take him to the airport.
Yeah,
there's nothing that was happening.
And even then, he had a Chinese wife, so they were pretty wary that she had the virus, or she was a carrier of the virus, and they didn't want anything to go wrong. So yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of panic, and I think if the media wasn't that huge in the world, like it was a big thing, the panic wouldn't be there.
I think even if social media, because I haven't learned much of what I've seen on anything but social media. I haven't seen many. I've seen news reports on it, but in comparison to what I've been able to access on the internet through social media, it's crazy.
Yeah, I reckon, because like that's where you get all your stuff, right? Social media. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like if social media wasn't like, if I quit social media, we're like, oh, whatever. Oh, probably not, but like, yeah.
But at the same time, I think whilst it does potentially create that kind of panic, it does make people prepared, aware as well.
But I think that's the thing. There's the social media part. It goes a bit too far.
Oh yeah, people take anything out of proportion.
Right. So you read the comment section, you're like, oh my gosh, like, it isn't that bad. Just do what you regularly do, stuff like that. But yeah,
I don't know how to feel.
I don't know how. Yeah, me neither.
Something interesting though. Apparently, the pollution in China has decreased. Because there's pictures from like NASA, and it's before the outbreak, it was like all orange or something, showing like the pollution, after the like during the outbreak and stuff,
lockdowns,
it's pretty much like virtually gone now.
Yeah, apparently like 1/3 of the pollution is temporarily gone. So
yeah,
so it's like that could be
that's how much they work though, like in China. Yeah,
but that
like
could
all
be
the productions and stuff.
That could be a link to like a conspiracy, if they want to remove the pollution, remove the population.
You're speaking my language right now.
Exactly. There you go. You never know. You guys have any tips and tricks?
Tips and tricks. Don't get coronavirus.
Oh, wow. Huge tip. Huge tip.
Definitely not going to get one now.
No, really?
I don't know. Just stay clean. Don't be a jerk about it as well. So, don't be mean to anyone that you think, is Asian just because you think they're going to carry it. I think all you can really do is just take your own precautions, stay informed, keep up to date, and that's it from me. What about you guys?
I think pretty much just on top of what you're saying, like, yeah, just be considerate, especially like the things you buy in shops. Like, again, there's people who are like living on low income, like, and they buy the essential stuff. So if someone is out there buying everything, you know, that's a struggle for other people too. So yeah, just on top of what you're saying, so be considerate.
Be considerate. Okay. Yeah, I reckon if you're staying clean, you're staying hygienic, then you shouldn't worry at all. I think one big thing is that you shouldn't stress/panic. I think stress makes your immune system a lot weaker, so which makes it more easier for you to get sick. So just don't stress. Just be aware of your surroundings as well. Just, you know, don't take it too far. Don't be a Karen, but you know,
Karen.
Yeah, just as long as you're aware of where you're at and you stay clean, then you should be fine. Wearing masks at this point, I don't think you should. That's my opinion. Unless you are sick. Actually,
even if you... Yeah.
That's from all the professionals, actually. Like, they said you don't need to wear masks unless you're actually sick. And, like, you got a cold or a cough and you're emitting your own saliva or something. So just, yeah. If you have a mask and you want to wear it. But just don't stress. I think stress is the number one thing. Stress and panic is the number one issue. Like, everyone's panicking about getting it, and then they get it for some reason. So, yeah, just I don't know, some tips and tricks for us.
I think also, like, if you're sick and it's more than the usual kind of plain, I can just walk it off sick, I think that's when you should just be mindful, like, of yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah. And,
like, you know, I don't know, I guess just be prepared if you need to take necessary actions, but if you're fine, you're fine.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else you want to say about coronavirus? Any other conspiracy theories?
I don't think we've got time for that.
Oh, we have you go.
I think as well, even if you are the walk it off sick, just maybe stay in. Because we don't know how it starts. Like, we don't know how you feel. You could feel so fine the first day of it, and then
could just drastically,
it could change, and in that day you might go out and, you know, give it to 5 other people who'll give it to 5 other people, you know what I mean? So I think just be considerate of that if you are sick. I don't know, I just think, like, I don't know. I just think, like, don't panic, but
I think that's a lot of us.
Be careful.
I don't know, like,
how to feel anything.
Yeah, because this virus is very, very new. Like, we don't know how it acts. We don't know how it really spreads, and how to control it yet. So, I think once we get more information from, you know, the experts to say how this virus, you know, is controlled or how it acts, I think that's when we should know how to act upon it. But for now, I think what everyone is saying, expert to amateur, is just stay clean and just stay mindful. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the coronavirus. Big topic, very big topic. It's a global topic. Definitely a good switch up from basketball terms. But yeah, we'll be getting back into basketball pretty soon. Thank you, Carla,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
It's fun to talk about conspiracies and get the Chinese government on my bad side.
She's always into conspiracies. I deal with that almost every day. So
daily basis.
Yeah. Thank you, Fat Pat, for coming through.
No worries.
I was gonna go Fat C for Cloyd. Shout out to Cloyd, Fat C. Yeah. Hopefully, we're not in next week, are we? We'll see. We'll see. But that is the coronavirus. Stay safe, everyone. If you are sick, stay indoors. And we will... hold on. We got to do a regular intro.
Thoughts and prayers as well.
Chloe's not here.
Wait, thoughts and prayers as well for all those people who are sick, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And also people in China and all the other countries.
Yeah. And remember, racism is a big thing. So if you... just be mindful of who you're talking to and don't offend anyone, okay? Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, On YouTube as well. I can't access YouTube right now, so not because I'm in China, just because I gave it up. And yeah, just follow us all there. We'll be posting regularly, and yeah, you'll just find us there. You can chat to us. Other than that, should I say Cloyd's outro, or
if you want?
Do we actually? Oh no, I don't have the buzzer.
I don't have you.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode. Laters.
See yous.
Bye.